Okay, I'm just going to do some quick corrections here. I will post this so you can look it over too, but I just wanted to walk through it because of course we're not in the classroom, so it's hard for me to do that. I apologize for the noise in the background. He found his squeaky toy. Okay, O is the center of the circle, so we have a radius meeting here at the point of tangency, which is Q, but this question asks us which line is the tangent, so you should have labeled it PR. PR is the tangent. Let's just talk about this for a minute. We know that when we have a radius meet a tangent, we create a 90-degree angle, so that's going to be important as we work through this. Okay, so example here, question number 2. O is the center of the circle, the point of tangency is T, determine the value of X. So we know that this is a 90-degree angle. So, and we also know from our review that all the angles in this triangle have to add up to 180. So we can add 90 and 40 for 130, subtract that from 180, and we know that there's 50 degrees left. And so that would be the answer. Okay, question number 3, same thing. O is the center of the circle, Q is the point of tangency, so we know we have a 90-degree angle there. 90 and 41 is 131. When we take that away from 180, we're left with 49, and all the interior angles have to add up to 180, so your answer there should have been B. Question number 4 is a little bit more straightforward. Kind of not trying to trick you, but it's just a pretty straightforward one. So we have a point of tangency M, and actually this angle here would simply just be 90 degrees. All right, question number 5. So we did 2 things that we reviewed before we got ready for this unit, and one was interior angle sum of 180 and also Pythagorean theorem. So here we have a radius of 10. It meets at a point of tangency G, and we know that that's a 90-degree angle, so we have a right angle triangle, and this leg here is 11. So what we're really looking for there is the hypotenuse, and so what we're going to do is we're going to use the Pythagorean theorem, c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared. We substitute it in. We're looking for the hypotenuse. So I don't really like this worksheet, so I would never have called that A. I would have called that C, but that's just a personal pet peeve of mine. So we're going to go c squared is equal to 100 plus 121. We're going to find the square root of that. Always the inverse operation is our last step here. It's like a type 1 equation, and we get 14 and 9/10. So your answer there should have been D. Okay, same thing here, just a little bit more difficult on the scale because this is actually the hypotenuse and a leg, so we're looking for another leg. Still the same situation though. We're going to set it up as Pythagorean's theorem, and we are going to go 30 squared, which is 900, 19 squared, which is 361, and because we're trying to get b squared by itself, we would subtract 361 from both sides. And then the final step, of course, is to find the square root of 539, and you should have had 23 and 2/10. So your answer there should have been C. Okay, question number 7, again, it's pretty straightforward. We're going to find the value of C, which would really annoy me because that's what I think the hypotenuse is, but nevertheless, we can work through this. Okay, we're given the hypotenuse, we're given the leg, so I would have actually called that B, but that's just my own personal preference. Same thing, c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared. We get 39 squared is equal to 28 squared plus b squared. We're going to subtract 784 from both sides, and then our last step is to find the square root, which is 27 and 1/10. So your answer there should have been B. Okay, so this last page stepped it up a notch, so these are the ones I really want to concentrate on. Okay, so we know that we've, it says here that it's the center of the circle, so we know we have a radius here, and it meets at A, which is, we are told, is the point of tangency. So we know that this is a 90-degree angle, and therefore we know that it's a right angle triangle. However, it's stepped it up a notch. One thing that I need to point out is that if you're given a radius here, every other radii on the circle has to be exactly the same. So that's going to come up here, okay? But so for right now, we need to find the hypotenuse, and what you needed to understand was we needed to add these 2 figures together. This 25 only goes to the outer edge of the circle, and this one is from the outer edge of the circle to point B. So adding those together to get the hypotenuse, which you would then get 63. So I just sort of rewrote the triangle here. And then you're back at things that you're comfortable with. We're going to use the Pythagorean theorem, c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared, and then when we work it all out, we're going to get 57 and 8/10, which seems like a reasonable answer. Okay, so this one was a little bit weird. I had a couple of people text me and say, I don't have enough information, we only have the hypotenuse here, and that's what I just explained up here. Okay, all radii are equal. So if this piece here, and it tells us that O is the center of the circle, so we know that this chunk here is indeed a radius. Point T is a point of tangency, so we know we've created a right angle triangle. So this leg here would actually be 22 because it's the radius. It's also a radii. So now we're going to have to add these two together. So we're building on the skill that we just learned in number 8. And so we're going to get 46 for the hypotenuse, 22 for the leg, and then we're going to work through c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared, and your final answer should be 40 and 4/10. So if you didn't get this question, go back, take a look at it. We're going to build on this. We're going to do the second half of this assignment today. Okay, and this one's sort of like a little bit of the reverse. We have both legs, and we are looking for the hypotenuse, except that they only want this piece right here. So once you find the hypotenuse, what you're going to have to do is remember that you're going to subtract 34 from it, because this chunk right here is also a radius. Okay, so I worked it all out and I got 89 and 7/10. Okay, and you can see that that's not an answer, so you're questioning yourself, and then you go, I only needed this section here, so I simply subtracted 34 from it, and I got 55 and 7/10, which is indeed an answer. Okay, so we're going to take a look at the second half of this assignment. I'm going to post that today, and the only real difference is instead of it being multiple choice, okay, it's just short answer. So what you can do is you can work through this. I'm going to post the answers tomorrow. Again, I'm going to go through them, but if you want to send them to me, if you have a question or concern, just shoot me a text, okay, and I'd be happy to help you with that. Also get your parents to check out parent trivia. I'm going to do some ding dong ditch today and hand out some chocolate bars that parents won. Okay, love you and miss you.